Hey, how's it going, everybody? We've got a two-part video for you all today as RLCS is officially back in session. Two-part videos. Number one, we're going to kind of recap it really quick, talk about some of the upsets, some of the surprises. There wasn't many. And then I'm actually going to break down the seeding. I'm going to show you guys how they're going to determine the matches for next weekend. So you guys can kind of sink your teeth into first-round matches and the excitement that comes from it. So with that in mind, let's jump over to the other page and kind of break these down. Pretty straightforward. Things pretty much went as expected. Deleted did put up, I was actually casting that series. Deleted put up a pretty good fight. It was 2 OTs, game 1 and 2. They won game 3, and then game 4, Genji showed why Genji is the #1 seed. They looked really good. Basically dominated midfield pressure. You could not score, get it past midfield. I think it was on Deleted's half, like 70 some odd % during the game. It was crazy. This one was really exciting as well. I talked to you guys in my tier list. I wanted to see more of M80. I wasn't sure of how they're going to look. Offense is solid, a lot of high-flying aerials and stuff. I'm not sure if they've completely solidified on the play style yet. In my opinion, it definitely feels like they are just out mechanicking people. But when they find their foundation, their base level, I think it's a really, really good team that when they peak, they're going to look incredible. They were up 2-0. Shopify brought it back to Parth and 2-Piece had a really good series, but M80 closed it out in the end. G2 swings on through. The game wasn't all that close except for, I think, one game in the series. Otherwise, it was like 6-1, 6-0 type matches. NRG and G2 both, congrats to them, do not drop a single game through qualifiers. So the decision between RS and Toasty, where with RS they were kind of struggling a little bit, doesn't seem to be, or no, Frosty, not RS, my bad. With Frosty, they decided to get rid of Frosty. They bring in Toasty. 3-0 over Plot Twist, which is the new Sosa roster. So NRG makes it on through. The biggest surprise or upset, if you want to call it that, TSM has been the kind of hot commodity. This is the Hebro roster with Wavy, Creams, and Hockey. Hockey peaked. Hockey played so well. This roster, again, TSM, I think was seeded a little bit low because they didn't take offseason results into account. They went up against OG, which is the former Tournament Minions roster. And as I talked to in my tier list video, OG, while they have good foundation and stuff, if they're not locked in and playing serious, not being held accountable, I could see them falling short to a couple things. The team itself definitely has good foundational play, to good base structure, but they are missing the offensive firepower that, like I said, isn't kind of templated. It's a little bit too easy to read and understand. So when they get aggressive, when they go for riskier plays, they look phenomenal and they score when they need to. Multiple times OG scoring with less than 25 seconds left to tie it up and bring it into OT. So this is going to be a team that you want to avoid at all times, I think, in Swiss, just because it is going to be a tooth and nail battle every time, which is to be expected when you've got someone like Calm on your team and the V1 roots are still strong. TSM, though, wins in 5, is a good series. Dignitas versus Muffin is a 3-0, but Dignitas didn't look as convincing as people were saying. It seems like there was a lot to be desired, a lot of missed shots and opportunities that Muffin could have scored on. Unfortunately, Gimmick receiving a lot of backlash as well, saying he was pretty much non-existent. I don't know if I agree with that. I didn't get to watch the series, but Dignitas did not look as solid as they once were. A lot of pressure on the line, so I expect teams, like everybody's talking, off-season events, scrims, etc., when you're playing in the moment to qualify for RLCS and get into the top 16, there's a lot more pressure on the line. People aren't going to play as aggressive, not as risky. They're going to be a little bit more passive. That's to be expected. Space Station wasted no time with Snowman. Snowman, I think, has a lot of potential, but there's no veteran presence on that team. So I do have some concerns, as I talked to you guys about. But Space Station is supposedly a consistent top 8, and rightfully so. The one that shocked everybody, though, is Omelette. Omelette, after a win over Boise, comes in and they end up going 2-0 on Luminosity, but this is the separation of teams. Good teams find ways to win no matter what. Does not matter the circumstance. Luminosity does just that. They get a reverse sweep and ends up qualifying into the top 8. So congratulations to them. They're going to be given an advantage because of that seeding as well. We dropped down to the lowers. Plot Twist, I think, was blessed a little bit by getting Boise State. Nothing against Boise. They did have a good lower bracket run. But Plot Twist, that is that new, like I said, that new Sosa put together team. Some good talent there as they punch through. Pirates on a boat, rightfully so. Shoutouts to Achieves. Shopify making haste of Boulevard. Boulevard did have a pretty good start to the offseason, but haven't really shown up in a strong presence like the Hebro roster did. They kind of just flipped the narratives. Deleted after dropping down to Genji in a close series. Did go against Carte Blanche. However you say their French name. It means like a blank check, I'm pretty sure. Or like directly translated, it's like documents, I think. But deleted. Quick work. A little bit spicy at times. It got a little bit too close, but they did close it off 3-0. The big surprise, I think this is probably one of the biggest surprise, is Omelette losing to Young Whippersnappers. A lot of people had Omelette with the amount of talent that team has. That's the Percy Zanil Line Blaze roster, I'm pretty sure. Should have qualified. Whippersnappers, credit to them. Not only do they beat Detonate, which is the old Vibrance roster, but they also beat Omelette. That is going to be massive for their seeding moving into the next split. Snowman does take out Incorrect. Again, Snowman's got a lot of talent. We knew that. They came in as like the 149 seed because they're going off of like ranked, and that's it. Most pro teams don't play ranked. They actually just grind twos, and then they play scrims. So that I think is a little bit of an upset, but I do think talent-wise, Snowman is more talented than the Tool, Angel, Flitz roster. So if we're going purely on paper, yes, not surprised that Snowman won, but foundationally, playstyle, history together, Incorrect has been trying to build this entire offseason. So they do get upset there. Muffin Men does drop down. Snozzenheisers is not an easy team, so glad they ended up winning on that one 3-1. And then probably the match of the day, Leftovers and OG going to 5. Super close. Cam and those guys putting in work, and they looked dang solid doing it. If I'm being completely honest, Leftovers should have won this series. They had it, but the veteran status, calm under pressure, OG does close it out. I think they were about to lose, and then Nolly hit a nasty flip reset. It was like a triple touch, I think, off the ceiling, backboard, and then another shot. He took it solo. That brings him into game 5, and then they close it out. Again, OG scoring a lot of last-second goals to move through. So, because of that, it gives us our top 16 teams, which I tweeted out yesterday. But these are it. These are your top 16 that are going to be playing in the main event. So everybody's wondering, how the heck does seeding work? How do we determine who's going where? How do we figure out what is happening with the matches up? And in the past and in the history, you would do 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, so on and so forth. But if you do that, then you get a ton of rematches. It also is not the appropriate seed. So I did all the hard work. I went and looked at the rulebook and made sure that things align. And I'm going to show you guys a few things. Number 1 is the seeding and the way that it applies. There's a couple qualifications. So I know you guys love MS Paint images. So here's another one. The way that this works. When you are playing in the RLCS now, because there is no weighted seeds, you know, you don't have a team that automatically gets top 8 into Swiss and 9 through 16 in closed quals waiting. The way that they do it now is because it is just straight up open qualification. Teams do not get reseeded in between double elimination and Swiss. So if you're one of the top 16 teams, that is your seed when you qualify. So to have it make sense, you earn the seed you qualify through. So Gen G, for an example, is facing the team that is 17th. So Gen G ends up going as the number 1 seed. Deleted drops down to the top 16 portion of the bracket. And because they win, they get the 16th seed. Very straightforward. The only one that it really changes up is for OG. OG came in as the 2nd seed overall. And because TSM beat them, TSM assumes their seed from the upper bracket and is now the 2 seed. OG then drops down to where TSM should have been, which is the top 15, which now means OG qualifies the top 15 seed portion of the bracket. So they're 15th. So this is the way it's broken down. I have all the teams and seeding sign next to them. The thing that's in the middle is important. We don't know specifically how RLCS is going to seed matches. They're not doing a straight up 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, so on and so forth, because if they did, you would have a lot of repeat occurrences. Gen G would just play Deleted XD again, even though they just played. You would see the same thing over and again. M80 would play Shopify, so on and so forth. The only thing that we have to base this on is they have officially posted, this is official post from Psyonix through sign-up pages, they have made the SAM matches public. First rounds have been confirmed. This is for February 2nd for South America. They have all the names listed. So what I did is I did a comparison's sake to figure out who is playing who. These are the seeds based upon how they placed. This is what the matchups are. So we can, in theory, figure out who is playing who in NA. So let me delete these. And we'll do it just like that. 1 versus 15. So you got Gen G versus OG. You now have 2 versus 16. So you have TSM versus 16, which is deleted XD. 3 is going to be SSG versus 13, which is Pirates on a Boat. 4 is G2 Stride. They're going up against 14, which should be the Snowmen. 5 is NRG. They're going up against 11, which is Young Whippersnappers. I'm sure they're very happy with that matchup. 6 is going to be Luminosity, and they're going up against number 12, which will be Plot Twist. That's a good match, actually. 7 versus 9, you've got Dig going up against Shopify to avoid rematches. Otherwise, you would see M80 and then play each other again. And then you've got 8, which is M80, and they're going up against number 10, which is the Muffin Men. If things stay consistent with the way that these matchups are playing from South America to NA, the reason why they're flipping those seeds is to make sure matches do not recreate. So 115 versus 116, 7-9 versus 8-10. Otherwise, you would see the repeat occurrences where you had 8 and 9 play each other, and 7 and 10 play each other. You would see another rematch between these guys. They swap those to make sure that it doesn't recreate. This is what your matches should be for the first round of Swiss for North America. I don't know what they're doing specifically for Swiss when it comes to the actual like seeding, if they are going to go with game differential or what the tiebreaker scenarios are. I'll have to look those up in the rules when the time comes. Keep that in mind if you guys have any additional questions about recaps and stuff like that, or if you'd like to know what matches realistically should be, let me know. I will try to post them and do weekly videos and all that kind of stuff if I'm not too caught up. I'll also try to do Europe when they get going, and give you guys that kind of stuff as well. But if you want to make sure you don't miss out on it, like, subscribe, notifications, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.